So I don't know what I'll be naming this video. It's probably going to be Bad Acid Trip or Acid Trip Gone Wrong or something like that. But this is a crazy story and it happened not too long ago. And again, don't do something just because you see it in my videos. Don't let my videos encourage you to do drugs or anything like that or do anything careless. I'm just telling a life story and something that happened to me. And hopefully the listeners, you guys, can learn something from it. So I guess I'm just gonna hop into this story. This time, my life, I guess there's changes about to occur, so I was excited. I felt like I needed some sort of outside guidance, aka LSD. And I had this tab of acid. I wasn't sure when I was gonna take it. I wanted to take it on a day where I was feeling good, I was in a good mood. And the last time I had tripped was the 4th of July. And on that day, I had bought a couple tabs, and I only took one on the 4th of July. I have a story about that coming soon. But anyway, it was the 4th of July, and I had taken one tab, and I saved the rest for another day. And this was that day that I was waiting for. So I was all excited. I was like, okay, alright. I was gonna take this acid. I was in a good mood. I had woken up. Everything was fine. I had a good day at work. Everything was quite splendid. But I had one problem. My stomach was all screwed up. The day before I took this acid, I had sat around all day smoking and I had hella munchies. I was eating everything. I was eating chips and french fries and candy all day. And basically I just passed out around like 7 p.m. And my mom woke me up with this big platter of candy and cookies and I couldn't refuse. So I eat it and I go back to sleep, and the next day I wake up and I go to work. So I spent all day thinking my stomach was going to explode, and I get home from work and I'm just like kind of skeptical whether or not I should take this tab just because my stomach is all screwed up, and I should have taken a Tums. And I had a Tums, but I dropped it on the ground because I'm stupid, and I wait for my friend Katrina to get to my house, and that was when I was going to take that tab. So she gets to my house, I take that tab, and I only take half. I'm like, well, should I take half or should I take whole? With my stomach feeling like this, I feel like I don't really want anything intense. And you can't really say that because acid is very unpredictable. And even though I had taken half a tab, it felt like it was a whole tab. It literally lasted as long as a whole tab. I don't know how, but it did. But anyway, I take this tab around 4 p.m. So about 4:20, me and my friend Katrina, we take a walk around my block, trying to get my mind off of things because my stomach was feeling weird. And I already knew it was going to be kind of a tough trip. I don't know if it was because it was about to rain, because it was about to rain. And I normally trip at night or if it's sunny outside. Like, I've never really tripped in the rain except for that mushroom trip. But that was pretty much it. It was a calm day that day. But this day, there was a hurricane, so there was like a lot of rain, and it was really ominous, and the dark clouds were really scary. So I was a little uncomfortable of the rain clouds, so I decided to take a walk. And we take a walk, we come back to my house, we smoke, and I'm starting to feel it a little more. And I start throwing up after I smoke. I don't know if it was the blunt. I was just not having a good time. I'm just trying to relax at this point. And I invite my friend Dan. We'll call him Dan. Dan comes over and we smoke. And he comes in like 20 minutes. He's at my house in 20 minutes. And so we're all just hanging out, smoking. It was about 5 p.m. So it was an hour after I had taken it. So I was starting to feel it. And I was starting to feel a little good. Smoking kind of helped. I was feeling calm. I was relaxed. And I'm on my phone, and my friend's texting me. And she's like, I'm drunk. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I wasn't really planning on hanging out with her. We were trying to make plans earlier in the week, but they kind of fell through because she was talking about spending time with her family and stuff and being busy. So I was just like, okay. So I made plans with Katrina and Dan, and so we were trying to see, she was talking about how she wanted to be picked up, and we were like, well, we kind of couldn't go get her because Katrina was off a bar at the time. It was kind of a weird balance of me being on acid and her being off a bar, so that kind of really didn't go that well together. And she couldn't drive, she couldn't pick her up. So what had happened was she was asking her dad if she could take her to my house, and then Katrina was going to drive her back later in the night. So her dad was like, well, you're way too drunk, and basically she didn't go. And it was kind of an intense moment. She was crying and freaking out and upset that she couldn't go. She was drunk, and I was a little scared. I started freaking out. I was seeing things. I was just seeing patterns in the sky and in the trees and on the sidewalk, and they were getting more intense from the anxiety. And during this anxiety attack, I kind of blocked everything out, so I don't really remember what had happened. The next thing I remember, we were just waiting and sitting, waiting for her to call back. With all the stress and anxiety and waiting and me tripping, we decided to go take a bike ride. And me and Dan, we get on our bikes, and Katrina is riding my skateboard. And we decide to go up to the park. We go up to the park, and it was such a nice bike ride up there. That was one of my favorite parts of the trip, I guess. I was really calm, and it was really nice, and I really haven't ridden my bike on acid, but it was really relaxing and surreal, and I enjoyed it. So we get to the park, and we're like, okay, now what? We didn't really have a plan once we got to the park. We kind of just left and went back to my house and smoked. And at that point, everybody was tired, so everybody pretty much went home. I laid down, and I was overheating, and I was just pouring water all over my body. I just felt so hot, and on acid, it's kind of hard to determine your temperature. I don't know why, but when I took it in the cold, I didn't know I was cold. I was shivering, but I didn't feel cold. It was really weird. I was laying down on my bed with the fan blowing on me on full blast and just trying to cool off, and eventually I cooled off, and I just felt like I couldn't move. I wanted to play video games or do something, but I just couldn't. I just was talking to people on the phone. At this point, I was really tired. I was really tired from the acid, and I was really tired from panicking, and just really tired from the day. So I was trying to fall asleep, but I couldn't fall asleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see patterns, and it would be impossible to rest. I'd be like, oh my gosh, patterns. So I had known that the weed was going to make me go to sleep. I was smoking out of my bowl, and a piece of ash got in my throat, and so I started like gagging and choking and coughing, and I was coughing so much I threw up. And I swear that piece of ash is probably still in the back of my throat to this day. But the thing was, weed made me tired, so it was good, but it was also bad because it intensified the trip. I started hallucinating more and seeing more stuff. I wasn't really hallucinating a lot. I was just seeing patterns occasionally, and I also felt it. And eventually my friend calls me back, and she's alive, so I'm all happy and stuff, and I can fall asleep. And I didn't fall asleep until like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up at like 9, and I was just so tired the entire day. I fell asleep at 12 and woke up at 7 again, and then had 7 more hours of sleep. So I was just sleeping. For some reason, that kind of acid just makes me fall asleep like the next day for all day. So yeah, I guess this is it of the story. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, don't do something just because you see it in my video. It ended up being a okay experience, I guess. I learned a lot of stuff from it, but at the same time it freaked me out, and I'll never forget being freaked out and panicking on acid.